I heard one of you guys in the comments say apparently my books were not straight, so I went through and I straightened them up for this video. Still not perfect. Yeah, is this better? All right, so today's video a little bit different. I got an email from a longtime watcher, and this is what he said. Antonio, how are you? I'm finally getting my life back on track. My fiance left me and drained my bank account. I've been working for over 115 hours for 2 weeks now. What advice can you give me on how to get my savings back up and how I can gain confidence in myself again? It's been a while since I've gone out. Thank you, PKP. So first up, PK, thank you so much for reaching out. As you guys know, we cover style on this channel, but if you watch this channel long enough, you know it's not really about style. It's about helping you become the man you know yourself to be. And part of that is failing and falling down. I've got a series of notes that I wrote down, the advice I would give you based off of having seen this happen to my brother, having seen this happen to a number of friends, what steps I think you should take, being maybe 20, 30 years ahead of you. And I would love to hear from you guys out there in the audience. Down in the comments, what advice would you give PK? Look at the situation he's in and try to be constructive. Yes, you could blame him. What were you thinking? Why didn't you take the red pill? What we're looking here is advice that we can give this gentleman now. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, let's talk about the practical stuff. I'm thinking, how can you minimize damage? Is it something that you can go talk to the bank so you can find out, okay, am I covered by anything? Chances are you are not, but it could be something, hey, is there a way for me to get money back? Can I go find out where she spent this money and try to recover some of this? You may find it's not worth it, that it is long gone, but there may be an off chance that you can actually get some things returned. You can get your money back in certain instances. And you want to make sure she doesn't have access to any of your accounts going forward. Go back in and you're trying to prevent loss. You've got to think, okay, I am going to start fresh. I'm going to start anew. I want to make sure that all of my information, you're probably going to want to go through and look at your credit report. You're going to want to monitor your credit report. You're going to want to think, okay, did she have access to any of my personal information that she could use? View yourself as almost like a fraud victim, and you want to go through and think that somebody probably has access to a number of your passcodes. All that stuff you want to change just to minimize, to reduce the chance that you could get hurt even further. All right, so you've minimized the risk of further damage. Now let's start thinking about how to save. Even if it's $1 a day, you start with $1 a day. You move that up to $5 a day, eventually $20 a day. Guys, that is where it's at. It's not about how much you're doing today. It's about building up the habit of saving, of putting things away. Look around. Can you give yourself an instant raise by reducing certain expenses? I know I have lived on buddies' couches. I lived on my sister's couch. She had a spare room that I stayed at for a few months. It is something that, yeah, you may have to move home. Find a way to be able to cut out that savings. Do you have to get rid of that car that you bought? You bought with her. She told you you needed it. You really don't need that new car. Yes, it's going to hurt your credit. Yes, you have to, work out a deal. You're probably going to lose a little bit, but that's better than being stuck in those payments for the next 6 to 7 years. What you're going through is you're looking to cut and to minimize expenses. You're looking at ways that you can start just putting away $1, $2, $5, $10 a day so you can build the healthy habits that are going to get you on your feet. And speaking of savings, I'm not going to send you any money, but I will send you this coin right here, PK, for reaching out to me. So make sure to reach out to me after this. You've already got my email address, and I'll make sure to send this out to you guys. And by the way, I will send a coin like this out to a guy that leaves a very good constructive comment for PK down below. I'm going to go through at least choose one winner, probably a little bit more. I love sending out these coins. They're called challenge coins. And they've just got a great message, and it's a constant reminder for you to become the man you know yourself to be. Now, to this point, you've been playing defense only. We don't want to be the late 1980s Buddy Ryan Eagles. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Great defensive team, but really had no offense and never really won anything in the playoffs. You want to be a guy that's going to go far. So what you're looking to do is to change up the money coming in. So say you're already working quite a few hours, about 120 hours over a 2-week period, 60 hours a week. Can you work more? Do you enjoy your job? Is it paying you well? And if not, you need to be looking for something else. I'm not saying that you need to quit your job. I'm not saying that, it's 60 hours actually to me as an entrepreneur is just, that's a good amount, but you can work more. I think 70, 80 hours, especially if you don't have kids, you're not married, you're early, you're young in your career. Yes, this is the time that you can put in the hours, especially sharpening the axe. And that's what I'd focus in on, working to build up the skill sets that are going to pay the bills. Yeah, the skills that pay the bills, oftentimes it's sales. It's being able to do things that most people don't even know how to do in technology. You pick up skills like that, and you're going to be able to get a job that pays you 2 to 3 to 4 times more per hour or salary-wise than what you currently have, because people, business owners, they pay for skill sets that bring in revenue, skill sets which grow the company. If you can find a way to build up the offense, and that's what I'm talking about, getting on that offense and bringing in more money and not just focused in on savings. Yes, take care of the savings, but focus in on bringing in more money. Now, that being said, make sure you're taking care of your body. This is something that, especially when you're young, you think, okay, I can consume junk and I'll be okay. I can be on 3 to 4 hours. I'm perfectly fine. And that may be the case for a while. But here's the thing. You're not running at 100% efficiency if you're not putting the right fuel into your body. Simple, right? Eat breakfast, eat lunch, eat dinner, and cook it yourself. Make it from scratch. Know what's going into that temple, that body, because it's the only one you have. Take care of it. Get out there and exercise, run, hit the gym, whatever it may be. Find something that works for you and stick with it. Point being is take care of that body, because guess what? That mind right here, the thing between your ears that is going to help you overcome the situation you're in, you've got to nourish that mind. And think about it, it only takes up what? 3% of your entire body mass, yet it consumes 20% of the energy. Knowing that, you realize that, hey, I've got to feed this machine, and having a good, effective, efficient body that moves blood, gets rid of waste, takes care of that mind, that's what's going to help you get to that next level. Now, this next point is really important. If you don't take anything else from this video, take this, and that is, do not give up on relationships. I'm not talking about just with women, I'm talking about with other men, just with people in general, because this is what life is about. If you want to live a satisfying life, it's about being able to engage with and get to know and live with your fellow man, woman, children. Right over here, I've got this poem that my kids put together. My son, my 3 daughters, they wrote this for me on my last birthday, and I absolutely love it. It's about the love we share for our wiener dog, of all things. But here's the thing, is that these wonderful kids that make my life so fulfilling were given birth by a woman that I decided to have this relationship coming in on 20 years. Point being, I don't know what's right for you. And I'm not saying you got to go into marriage. I am saying, though, that relationships with women, with men, with children, just life relationships with your parents, this is key. First up, you've got to have that relationship with yourself. And that's the most important one. You've got to love yourself. You've got to know, hey, this is who I am. Take the time to think about, what do you want out of this life? Who am I? What do I stand for? And acknowledge and be at peace with that. Forgive yourself for what has happened here, because it wasn't, maybe part of it was your fault, but forgive yourself for that and forgive her and move on. Don't become this vindictive, self-sabotaging person that has given up on anything because one person has burned them. Point being is, relationships, in my opinion, are one of the most beautiful, fulfilling, important parts of our lives as human beings. And if you can't have relationships with other people, it's going to be very difficult for you to have relationships with a relationship with yourself. And that's what I'm scared of, is this thing is going to burn you and you're going to give up. And don't do that, because life is so fulfilling. Life is so magical. And relationships are key to, I think, really getting the most out of life. Next up, let's talk about gratitude. And if you haven't read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, you want to go grab this book. Here's a guy that was going through the Nazi concentration camps. He lost his family. He was being tortured. He was being starved. He was in a situation, you can't imagine it being much worse. Yet he was able to find dignity in this situation. Find dignity with where you're at. Now, I know one of the ways I do this is I have gratitude for what I do have, because yes, she may have emptied out that bank account. You may not be feeling great about yourself. Your confidence may be shot, but you don't have terminal cancer. And you do maybe have 20 to 30 years, if not more, left on this planet. You also have a body that's probably in relatively good shape. All of this right here is something to have gratitude for, and something that you can build off of, and you can change your mindset of how you approach this. And I know this view may be hard to take right now, but think of what you're going through as your trials, your hero's story, because every good hero needs an enemy. Every hero needs to fall down. That's why we all love Star Wars, because Luke Skywalker falls down, gets his hand cut off by his father. I mean, he's great. Oh, sorry to ruin Star Wars for you if you haven't watched it. Point being is that it's the hero's journey. Hercules. Why do we remember Hercules? Not because he was named after Hera. Very few people know that he was named after Hera, Hera's glory, because his mother wanted to protect him from Hera's wrath. But Hera still came after him and gave him these tasks that he had to accomplish, and he did these things. He found a way to make it happen, and that's why he became immortalized, because we remember the things that he accomplished despite all the difficulties, all the trials. It was not predetermined that Hercules was going to be able to overcome these things, and because he did, he is remembered. Next up, I highly recommend you go out there and you find your tribe. I'm not talking about disappearing into the Amazon. What I'm talking about is going on to social media, Facebook, and finding a group that you connect with, people that you've got something in common with, people that you just resonate with. Yeah, social media in many ways has divided people, but it's also brought them together. I'm thinking Ryan Masters, he's the godfather to my youngest daughter, Katya. He's a great friend of mine, and I met him on social media. We started talking. Next thing you know, we're meeting up at a conference, and we start hanging out. All of a sudden, we become great friends. Why? Because we found that we had things in common, we connected, and we never would have found each other if it hadn't been for social media. So find people that you really just enjoy talking with. Take it offline, have a Zoom call, get it on a phone call. Maybe once all this pandemic stuff is done, meet up in person. Point being is find people that you can connect with. Don't give up on relationships, because this is just so important to really just living a fulfilling life. All right, Jen, so again, I know you've got an opinion. I want to hear from you down in the comments. What would you have added to this video to make it better? And what video to watch next? Well, Jets, learn how to be a real man in this video right here. Had a lot of fun with this video. I talk about why you shouldn't be a nice guy and instead be a REAL. I use it as an acronym. I have a lot of fun with this video, so go check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it.